Prescott. Carpenter and I have an agreement.
Which I don't know anything about. Now look, Carpenter hired me, and until he says different, he's the boss.
All right. All right. That's loyalty. I admire that.
No, it has nothing to do with loyalty. It's honesty. Look, my deal is with Charles Carpenter. You want to change anything, you got to go through him.
All right, I'll talk to him, and you'll be hearing from him, and he'll tell you that I'm his major stockholder and the boss.
When he does, I'll be glad to believe it.
You don't waste words, Prescott.
Well, I figure the good Lord didn't give us words to waste, but to use wisely.
The Lord?
Your creator, friend.
Interesting. Well, I'll be talking to you, Prescott.
Peter, don't leave without breakfast. You hear me?
Dear Mom, no time for breakfast. I'll eat 2 lunches. Love, number 1 son, Peter.
Just wait till I get my hands on you, number 1 son. Well, I thought you'd be halfway across town by now. What'd you forget this time besides breakfast?
My car.
What?
Either I forgot it or someone's taken it.
Now, wait a minute. This isn't one of your jokes, is it?
Mom, my car is gone.
Well, where is it?
Well, if I knew that, I'd be driving it, right?
Well, did you check out front? I mean, maybe that's where you left it last night.
Oh, it's not out front. I didn't even drive it last night, remember? I left it here for Gary to fix.
Oh, well, then that's it. Gary probably had to take it to a mechanic.
Gary is a mechanic.
Now, wait a minute. Was the car here when you came home? You weren't here when I got in last night.
I don't know.
Do you mean to tell me you didn't notice whether or not the car was in the driveway?
Well, no, it wasn't in the driveway. It was in the garage. See, Gary was fixing it in there. Besides, Julie and I came in the front door.
You and Julie, I see.
Mom, now you were asleep. And I didn't see any point in waking you up to tell you that we had a guest.
And you were so busy entertaining your guest that you forgot to check on your car.
Well, I just figured that Gary and Jill, they'd fixed it, that's all.
Jill was here, too?
Yeah. Well, no, she wasn't here when Julie and I got in.
Do you mean to tell me, Peter Davidson, that you let 2 of your friends stay here while you were away?
Mom, the problem is my car's gone. No car means no job.
I know that, Peter, but the key to this whole thing could be if
Hold
you...
it. Keys.
Keys?
Yeah, keys. I bet you Gary left the keys in the ignition. Somebody's stolen my car, Mom. I'm calling the cops.
Peter, wait. The car was in the garage. The garage was locked when I got home. Now, I think that you should start with calling Gary.
Gary's probably already at work, though.
Well, all right, then call Jill. You know, I think this whole situation can be explained.
Gary. Oh. Hi, Liz.
Hi,
Come
Peter.
in.
Look, I know it's very early and everything.
Liz, is everything all right?
No, it isn't.
What is it?
Well, I was hoping that Jill would be over here.
Oh, she's not here.
Oh, she was here yesterday afternoon.
Is that the last time that you saw her?
Yeah. Why?
She didn't come home last night. I checked her bed and it wasn't slept in. I know she's been on her own a long time, Terry, but she's still so vulnerable. I have no idea where she could be.
Seems like a morning for mysteries. First my car's missing. Now Jill.
Play me.
Russ? Hi. It's so strange talking to you like this. I feel like saying this tape will self-destruct in 1 minute. Anyway, as you can see, I'm not here. At home, I mean. By now, I should be on my way to New York with David. I was going to tell you this morning, but you'd already gone. Jogging, I guess. This is the big day, Russ. We're going to cut the album. Don't worry about me. Dave's taking me to a throat specialist before we go to the studio. I love you.
called them. One of the waitresses said that she hadn't been there in over a week.
You've already called Terry?
Oh, the first thing this morning. Why would she do something like that?
I don't know, honey. Maybe we set down too many strict rules for her.
Well, no more than necessary.
You know, she could be hitchhiking to any city in the country right now.
Jill's gone?
Oh, Jenny, Jill didn't come home last night.
But where is she?
We don't know, honey. Maybe you can help us find her. See, there's a chance she's run away.
But why? I didn't tell Honor about the lamp.
The lamp? You mean the one you broke a few days ago?
Yes, ma'am.
What does that have to do with her disappearance?
Come here, honey. I want you to tell me the truth. Did you break the lamp? Or did Jill break the lamp?
Jill did, but she didn't mean it. Honest, she didn't.
Then why did you tell us that you did it?
Because I was afraid that you and Daddy would make her go away and I wouldn't have anybody to play with, like now.
Did Jill tell you that?
Honey, we wouldn't have made Jill go away. All she would have had to do was tell us the truth. We would have forgiven her. You believe me, don't you?
Sorry.
Here, come on, sit down. Baby, Mommy and I, we want you to tell us the truth. Always, no matter what. Okay?
Honey, it's almost time for school. I left you some cereal in the kitchen, so why don't you go have your breakfast now?
Go on.
Jenny is not in the habit of lying to us.
Honey, she's just a kid. Now, you saw the look on her face. She knows she did wrong.
The deception started with Jill, and she isn't even here to take responsibility for what she did.
All right. Now, look, I'll call the neighbors again and see what I can do. Her clothes are still in the closet. She's got to come back for them.
Well, right now, the way I'm feeling, I'm not so sure I want her to come back at all.
And in the meantime, Peter doesn't have a car.
Well, I let him borrow it since I don't have to be at the hospital until this afternoon. Actually, I am more concerned about Jill than his car. Although I suspect when we find one, we'll find the other. We still haven't gotten a hold of Gary, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
Well, I don't know about Peter, but you sure seem to be handling the situation very calmly.
Well, Lori, that's what mothers are for. You remain calm and you give very good advice, and you make very good coffee.
Well, I have the cup of coffee. Tell me, do you think you could give the good advice now?
You and Ben haven't been quarreling, have you?
Yes and no. You might just say we are going through a disagreement.
About the clinic? No, I thought that was already settled.
Oh, well, we did settle it. This time, it's about Russ. Mom, he's really going through a discouraging time right now. I mean, between school, Becky, and her singing career.
Now, how did you and Ben happen to get involved in all this?
Well, I run into Russ on the campus, and we talk. Mostly, I just listen. There's something inside of him that's crying out. And I know that it's the perfect time for him to come to personal terms with the Lord. But Ben thinks that because of my past relationship with Russ, I can't be objective. And that I'm doing more harm than good.
Are you counseling Russ?
I'm only telling Russ how the Lord has handled problems for me. And sometimes my experiences relate to his. If you want to call that counseling, then yes.
Remember when you were dating Russ, and you used to tell him that you were the way you were because of your relationship with the Lord? Lori, he's heard this thing from you before. And when he hasn't heard it, he has seen it in you. Now, you couldn't change him then, and you can't change him now. It's up to him to take that first step.
Oh, I know that, Mom. It's just, well, the more I face difficulties in my own life, you know, the more I could see that God was capable of handling them all. And I know that Russ could see that, too. If only, for once, he would just hear what I'm really saying.
Honey, look, if you are as objective about Russ and Becky's situation as you claim to be, and if you can see how God works in these hard areas, then it shouldn't be any problem to turn this hard area over to the Lord.
But we run into each other at school all the time. Too many times just to be coincidental. And I think there must be a reason for that.
Don't assume how God is going to handle this. It's the time to turn it over to Him and let Him do what is best. Meanwhile, we can pray.
Do you really think that's all I should do?
It's more than you think. I know it may seem like a passive response, but it requires a lot of faith.
Amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
Oh, thank you. I call it the Prescott Convex. To the best of my knowledge, it's never been done before, and it's still in the idea stages. But I think that Hollister Mall is the place to try it out.
And you're the man to do it.
Well, I'm the man with the idea and the itch to do it. Right now, it's only in the idea stages, but someday it's going to be concrete, along with a little steel and glass.
Your work thus far on Hollister Mall. Are you pleased with the results?
It sounds like something I ought to be asking you, Vince. Are you pleased with the results?
You don't waste any time getting to the point, do you? I admire that, Prescott, especially with a man I'm doing business with. To answer your question, yes, so far I am pleased with the results. You're 2 days ahead of schedule.
Ha! Don't do any dancing yet. With 6 months left to go, that'll seesaw back and forth enough. But we'll do the best we can to get it ready for the ribbon cutting on Labor Day.
I would rather cut ribbons than cut corners any day, so let's not worry too much about that September completion date.
You want to change anything in a contract, you got to talk to Charles Carpenter.
Look, Prescott, Carpenter and I have an agreement.
Which I don't know anything about. Now look, Carpenter hired me, and until he says different, he's the boss.
All right. That's loyalty. I admire that.
No, it has nothing to do with loyalty. It's honesty. Look, my deal is with Charles Carpenter. You want to change anything, you got to go through him.
All right, I'll talk to him, and you'll be hearing from him, and he'll tell you that I'm his major stockholder and the boss.
When he does, I'll be glad to believe it.
You don't waste words, Prescott.
Well, I figure the good Lord didn't give us words to waste, but to use wisely.
The Lord?
Your creator, friend.
Interesting. Well, I'll be talking to you, Prescott.
And that's the whole story. Becky just up and took off to New York with Cohen to cut this already Grammy-winning album of hers.
Russ, I'm sorry.
Don't be. I'll just tell her that her friend stopped by bearing fruit as a housewarming gift. Only the lady of the house was not... Better yet, why don't I put all that on tape and let her play it?
Russ, I'm sure Becky's thinking about you.
Oh, come on, Lori. Becky's got more things to do than think about me. She's got stardust in her eyes. And I'll tell you something, too. Every time she bats those eyes of hers, Cohen is right there with a microphone or a photographer.
Russ, this is an exciting time for her. I mean, can you imagine dreaming your whole life of cutting an album, and then all of a sudden, you're given the chance to do it?
Yeah, but that doesn't give her the right to just up and fly off to New York without talking to me first. If we're going to make decisions, we're going to make them together as a couple.
Have you tried to call her yet?
I would if I had the number. You see, Becky somehow forgot to tell me where she was going to be staying. Of course, she might not have even known. It does seem that lately the Cohen has been pretty much in charge of her life. I'm sorry, Lori. I don't mean to be sounding off. I always do it around you, don't I?
That's okay. I understand. It's like I told Ben last night. Everyone needs someone that they can talk out their problems with.
You mean you've talked to Ben about us, Becky and me?
Yeah. He's concerned about our talks. He thinks maybe they've been a little bit too frequent.
Well, I can see his point there. No, really, I've thought about it too, Lori. But you're just so easy to talk to. And you really listen to me, and I appreciate that.
Well, I'm glad, because I always felt that's just what you needed. Someone to listen. That's why I've always told you about the Lord, because He listens, and He sees, and He cares about the Russ Weaver that's inside Russ Weaver.
Lori. I don't know which words I could say, but you and the Lord, the way you feel about Him, well, it just couldn't be the same for me.
Yes, it could. If you would just give every part of yourself to Him, a complete surrender.
Well, maybe that's it. Huh? I've always been so dependent on me, and I've always fought for me that, well, to give myself to someone completely, I just couldn't do that.
You've always seen life as a struggle, Russ. And I know I've said this before, but if you ever want to give up the fight, the Lord will be there for you.
Okay, but it's just not for me. What were you saying?
I was saying that I thought I'd come by and see if you and Becky wanted to have dinner with me tonight.
No, I'm afraid she's not here.
Well, what is she, rehearsal or somewhere?
I thought the whole world knew by now. She's in New York.
Ah, does this trip have anything to do with that album she's so eager to make?
You guessed it. When I got back from jogging this morning, she'd already taken off with Cohen to New York. Left me a goodbye on the tape recorder.
I guess this singing business means more to her than I thought.
What do you think that I've been telling you all along? She had this trip planned to the last detail, Vince. She probably had a suitcase stuffed away somewhere and just conveniently waited until I left.
Well, I have outguessed some pretty smart people in my time, but when it comes to women, they're like dice. You just gotta take your chances with them, Russ.
Chances. Laurie and I are talking about chances today. Speaking of which, it was probably the last time we ever talked together.
Laurie Martin? You two planning to end your friendship?
No. Laurie's probably the best friend I got right now. Now her husband's a little bit uneasy about the amount of time she's spending listening to my sob stories. You know, ever since I've known that girl, she's always told me why God always comes first in everything in her life. She honestly believes that she can't live any other way.
Sounds like your grandmother. I could never take that Sunday school mentality myself. I still can't. I respected her for believing it. As a matter of fact, I respect anyone who is bold enough to believe anything these days.
So, this is the way it ends, huh? I mean, not that I really even care anymore.
Look, Russ, you're young. You got your whole life ahead of you. Things can still turn around for you. Yeah, me, I've seen it all. I've bought everything. I don't have any explanations.
Maybe it comes right back to taking chances.
Russ, Becky is a little bit headstrong, but she loves you. Don't forget that.
Tell her not to forget it. She's the one that can't remember where she lives.
Oh, come on. She'll soon tire of this New York scene. Once she sees that it's all take and doesn't give back anything.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure she will see that, Vince. Certainly not in the near future.
She will. She can't listen to this Cohen's slick talk for too long.
Well, all I know is that she is not here. Here with me, where she belongs.
What about my invitation to dinner, huh? Are you up to eating with me alone tonight?
Sure. Sure, why not?
Jeff, dinner's almost ready.
Want me to help you set the table?
Oh, thanks, honey. That'd be a big help. I guess you'll only be setting 3 places tonight.
Honey, we've called all over town looking for Jill. There's not much else we can do.
I shouldn't have gotten so upset this morning. I know that the Lord is with us. I guess I haven't given him a chance to work in this situation.
You know, I really think we're going to come out on top of all this. Wait and see.
I'm so concerned about Jill. We don't know if she has money for food or if she's stranded somewhere. Honey, was it so horrible for her here? I thought we were doing the right thing in asking her to stay with us.
Well, she's never lived with a family before. I mean, a real family. We weren't even a real family till a few months ago. We've got a lot to learn.
Chet, do you think that's her?
I don't know, it might be. She's still got her key, though. Let's see. Sergeant Brubaker, come on in.
Hi, thank you. I really hate to disturb you at home like this.
Well, let me get your coat.
No. It won't take a minute, really.
Oh, Sergeant, we were just about to sit down to dinner. Would you care to join us?
Well, thank you, but I really can't stay. I spent the whole afternoon going through the last 24 hours arrest reports, and I got a little surprised when I found your address on one of them. There is a Jill Hanson living here, isn't there?
Yes. Jill's been arrested.
Why? What for?
Well, she was caught shoplifting up on the north side, and the driver of the car, Gary Taylor, he's in custody, too.
Gary is Peter's friend.
Well, it was Peter Davison's car they were driving, and that's been impounded.
Let me get my coat. We can get it right out.
Jeff, Jill Hansen doesn't know I'm here. And she also asked specifically not to see you or your wife.